2 days after Israel carried out its heaviest assault on Lebanon since the start of the war, people in the city of Tyre are still searching through their damaged homes.
A year and a half ago, my business was destroyed. And now, this is my second business that's also been lost. A large place that we turned into a home and a business.
Well, sirens have sounded in Safed and several other towns in northern Israel following rocket fire from Lebanon. Hezbollah said it launched rockets targeting Israeli army facilities. These images show the aftermath in Safed, where falling debris caused damage after the rockets were intercepted. Well, let's turn to Heidi Pett now in the Lebanese capital, Beirut. And Heidi, I mentioned this contact between the Lebanese and Israeli ambassadors to Washington. That seems to have set up a meeting for Tuesday. What are we expecting to happen in that meeting?
Yes, that's right. So they held a phone call at about 9 p.m. local time and agreed to meet in Washington on Tuesday. Now, the Lebanese president's office, shortly after that phone call, issued a statement saying that the two had agreed to meet to discuss announcing a ceasefire and the start of negotiations. But not long after that, the Israeli ambassador also issued a statement saying that the two had not agreed to discuss a ceasefire with Hezbollah, which he described as the main impediment going forward, citing their continued attacks on Israel. And it is true that Hezbollah has once again started attacking Israeli troops who are part of the ground invasion here in Lebanon and also firing rockets into Israel. They've launched more than 50 operations in the last 24 hours after they had initially paused on Wednesday due to their understanding that the regional ceasefire did apply here in Lebanon. Now, Israel and its military made it abundantly clear that they did not consider that to be the case, launching more than 100 airstrikes in the span of 10 minutes. And the death toll here in Lebanon as a result of those strikes only continues to climb as hospital workers continue to identify the dead. But it has now passed more than 350.
You mentioned the death toll. How are these continuing attacks impacting the humanitarian situation there?
Yeah, the attacks continue. Well, Wednesday was a very, very black day. Israeli airstrikes have continued over the course of Friday. Notably, 2 paramedics were killed when their ambulance was targeted earlier on Friday, and 19 people were killed when an Israeli airstrike targeted a government building in the town of Nabatea. Now, among the dead there were 13 members of the government security forces. Israel has maintained throughout this entire period that it is targeting Hezbollah, and the civilian toll has obviously also been enormous. But this is significant because Israel is supposed to be about to enter these direct negotiations with the Lebanese state, who it is asking to essentially help them out by disarming Hezbollah. And yet, at the same time, they are killing the security forces of the Lebanese government. But more broadly, across the south, the Israeli ground invasion continues, and we have had many warning of the dire humanitarian situation for thousands of people who do still remain in the south. The World Food Programme today warned of an impending food security crisis, saying that many markets in the south were closed, others had only a week's worth of supplies left, and stating that there were between 50 and 150,000 people in South Lebanon who were in need of humanitarian assistance.
All right, thanks so much. Heidi Pett there in the Lebanese capital, Beirut. The World Health Organization has said some of Lebanon's hospitals could run out of life-saving medical supplies within days. Several of Wednesday's airstrikes targeted central Beirut, from where Malcolm Webb has more.
People in Beirut are trying to come to terms with the aftermath of Israel's attacks on Wednesday. The city hasn't experienced this level of death and destruction in decades. Hours after the US and Iran agreed to a truce, Israel says it launched 100 strikes in just 10 minutes across Lebanon. The attack killed hundreds of people. Hundreds more were injured, and hospitals were overrun with casualties. Not all of them survived. Khair Hamir came here to collect the bodies of his brother and his nephew.
This girl, she was there. We brought her to the hospital. They treated her. And her brother as well. He had an operation on his head. Her father was killed. Her other brother was also killed. She has one brother left. What are we supposed to do?
Families of the missing don't know if their loved ones will ever be found in the vast piles of debris. There was a warehouse here. The neighbours say it was used to store food and humanitarian supplies for displaced people. This is all that's left of it. And the bomb that hit it was so powerful, it's blasted all of the windows and some of the walls out of dozens of the surrounding apartments. All of the bombs that hit central Beirut came in densely populated residential areas. That's what's led to such high numbers of people being killed and injured. Lebanon's health services were already strained by weeks of Israeli attacks, including on health facilities and ambulances, and years of economic crisis. The World Health Organization says Wednesday's airstrikes have left hospitals low on life-saving supplies.
When you have that kind of mass casualty, actually, it requires to bring all your resources just to make sure there are no gaps. And the supplies that we were thinking actually to use for the next 2 weeks were consumed in 1 day, in 24 hours. So that will not give us actually to accommodate another mass casualty, another crisis day.
Many of Beirut's younger residents haven't seen anything like this before. Lebanon's health system will struggle to cope if it happens again. Malcolm Webb, Al Jazeera, Beirut.